do you handle a maintenance emergency if you own a rental property in Dallas? Hi, I'm Steve Rosenberg with Mind Property Management. Today I'm joined with Murphy Cheatham of our Dallas Mind Property Management Company. So Murphy, how do you handle an emergency in Dallas?
Well, first is you need to get to the root of the issue and not necessarily the result. So what do I mean by that? If you all of a sudden your plumbing isn't working in your rental property, 9 times out of 10 you have a foundation issue. So the foundation is shifted, and it's really messed with or damaged your overall plumbing. So you're going to need a foundation expert out there and then a plumber out there. Another thing is, especially if you're not living here, you may not know this. Dallas-Fort Worth can have all types of weather, all aspects of weather in a matter of 1 week. So you might have a hailstorm to a heat wave to heavy rains in a 3 or 4 day period. So while your AC might be out and it might be the middle of winter, you still could have an 80 or 90 degree day in November or December here in Dallas. And that constitutes, legally, an emergency repair. We have 48 hours as a management company. As a landlord, legally per the state of Texas, you have 48 hours to respond to an emergency repair. If not, you can be held liable. That could be fines. That could be to the severity of how it impacts your resident. That could be a wide range of penalties. So you really need to address that early on, fast and swiftly.
That's great. And I think what's important to understand is when you do have an emergency, stop the emergency, first of all.
Absolutely.
And so that's the first thing. The other thing I would say is identify the definition of an emergency. And as Murphy stated, here in Texas, we have what's called the Texas Property Code, and that's what identifies and that is what defines what an emergency is and is not. And make sure that the residents know what is an emergency and what is not an emergency, because it's important to know that you have to know what an emergency is, and the resident has to know what an emergency is, because just because something they feel is an emergency, it may not legally be an emergency, and it could work the other way. You may not think it's an emergency, but Texas Property Code may state that it is, and that is where you can get yourself in some very serious hot water and legal trouble if you do not know the law. And again, it's about communication and communicating with the resident. If the house is flooding, if there's an issue, these are the things that you want to make sure the resident knows: where the water shutoff valve is, where the gas line shutoff valve is, how to stop the emergency, how to call the appropriate 911 or other people to make sure that they can stop the situation, to make sure the house is safe and habitable. And then you can assess the damage and get it taken care of, obviously, in a timely manner. So I think that these are the things, and Murphy, I don't know if you agree, but these are the things I think is important to know as a landlord. What do you need to do first? And I'd say first, you got to stop the emergency, and you got to define what is and what is not an emergency.
Absolutely. And resident safety, in the case of an emergency, resident safety is paramount, right?
Absolutely.
You want to make sure that your residents are safe. And then again, going back to what could and could not be deemed an emergency, a stopped-up toilet in a 1-bathroom condo could be deemed an emergency. Correct. But a stopped-up toilet in a 2 or 3-bathroom house is not, right? So again, it all depends on your property, on the tenants, time of year, temperature outside, so on and so forth.
Yeah, very true. Very true. So Murphy, if somebody wants to get a hold of you and they want to talk about Mind and how you could help them or discuss more about emergencies, how would they do that?
Sure. 888-866-6727. Again, 888-866-6727. That's our direct line here. My email address is askmurphy, M-U-R-P-H-Y, at mind, M-Y-N-D.co. So askmurphy@mind.co.
Great. And for those of you that want to keep your education going, I would urge you to join our Facebook group. It's the Mastermind, M-Y-N-D, Mastermind Real Estate Investment Club. And there you'll be able to engage with experts like myself, Murphy, other people, and you can have conversations about this very topic as well as others to find out what is and what is not emergencies and how you can be successful and avoid failures before they happen to you. Also, we have a podcast show. It's the Mindful Investor Podcast Show. It comes out every week, and there you'll get to hear from novice investors all the way up to very high-level experience. And there we talk about not only people's wins, and successes, but more importantly, their losses and failures and how they've overcome them. So on behalf of Mind Property Management, Murphy, and myself, I want to thank you for watching, and we'll catch you next time. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you'd like to keep the conversation going, join our Facebook group.